Now, folks, if you'll just gather around a little closer now. Come right in a little closer. That's it. That's fine, folks.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
So Devin Haney told the WBC that he was emotionally and physically unfit to defend his WBC 140-pound title against Sandor Martin. And as a result, they've made him a champion in recess. Now, nobody's going to give credit to Devin Haney for not holding onto the belt and holding up traffic for contenders who want to get a crack at the title. But for a 25-year-old kid, his response to all what's happened to him has been exemplary, while the fans of Ryan Garcia and Ryan Garcia himself have sullied the name of boxing, in my opinion. So is it irony or just a result of modern-day boxing that Devin's opponent, Ryan Garcia, who knocked him down 3 times and outpointed him, got popped for Osterine, and as a result, Ryan is suspended for a year. His win was changed to a no contest, and rightly so. Devin's going to take some time off. And the next 2 contenders in line are the Spaniard, Sandor Martin, and the Dominican Republic's Alberto Puello, who last May tested positive for clomiphene, where he got stripped for that WBA title before a proposed defense against Rolly Romero. But what goes around comes around, I guess.
What comes around goes around.
Let's not bullshit. This is prize fighting. Devin ain't fighting for peanuts. No one is going to go in that ring and fight for less if they feel there's more out there. No one. Devin, no exception. And I would question if Devin is emotionally unfit, physically unfit to defend his title, or is he reluctant to take 1.5 when he's been earning a lot more than that against the likes of Sandor Martin. I mean, it's not a pay-per-view fight. It would just be a flat 1.5 and that's that. And I think, he has been through a lot as well, so he might want to sit it out for a little while, reflect on what's happened and plan the future. I believe that recess title will probably carry over from 140 to 147, meaning if Barrios is still the champion by the time Devin comes back, he could probably just walk straight into a fight with him. I don't see Devin coming back at 140. He or Ryan.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
2 cards on the weekend across the pond, Arizona and Miami. Which one is value for money? Just talking about the main event. You got Bam Rodriguez, unified flyweight champion, taking on the WBC super flyweight champion, Juan El Gallo Estrada. Doesn't get much better than that. And then in Miami, you got WBO 140-pound champ Teofimo Lopez taking on Steve Clagget. I can barely contain my excitement, Teo. Not. I mean, is the Clagget challenge to Teo being taken seriously? Is there any doubt who's the winner here? But that's the whole point of an upset. Most of us won't see it coming. But Teo should defend his title here. Teo, he looked really good against Josh Taylor, but we know Josh is in decline. But he didn't look good at all against Jermaine Ortiz. I think he lost that fight. I also think he lost to Sandor Martin. Got dropped a couple of times. So I don't think either his dad or Teo or Bob, Top Rank, really trust Teo. They don't know who's going to show up if they put him in with competent boxers, for instance. So they're reduced to this, selected, hand-picked opponents. Like Top Rank, baffling matchmaking at times. Like this fight here, very random. And there's much better opponents on 140. It's one of the hottest divisions in boxing. I was going to say he could have rematched Jermaine Ortiz, but it wasn't very exciting. It's not going to do much for the viewership, I guess. But there's better fights out there for Teo. Then you got the curious case of your man, Nayor Inoue, taking on TJ Doheny rather than his mandatory Murujan Akhmadaliev. That's crazy.
Crazy.
I don't know what's the point of putting on these substandard fights. What does it do for anybody?
Crazy.
As much as I'm looking forward to the Gallo Estrada, Bam Rodriguez fight, 10-year age gap, 24, Bam, 34. Gallo hasn't been in the ring since 2022. I mean, Bam has to be a big favourite in this one, isn't it? Surely. Maybe not a big favourite, but a favourite nonetheless. Estrada is a slow starter. He does what they say is processing data. And he does it well. But a slow start against Bam could be a bit of a gamble. I haven't seen no gas tank problems from Bam at all. He can box and he can slug, as can Estrada. If Bam gets off to a good start, a nice energetic start, and gets an early lead, that's what Robert Garcia will be hoping for. Can he afford to let the younger man get off to a good start and an early lead? But can Gallo fight any other way? He seems to like to overcome the adversity and come on strong. All fascinating stuff, people. All fascinating stuff. I'll be shocked if it ended inside the distance. But, you know, I'm picking Bam. 10-year age advantage. Estrada inactive for over a year and a half. Bam got a 3-inch reach advantage. You know, I'm a big Gallo fan, but, you know what I mean? I've got to pick Bam.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Last year, Sonny Edwards lost his IBF World Flyweight title to Bam Rodriguez. After making 4 defenses, Bam stopped him in 9 in what was a good fight. Sonny showed us a few facets to his game that we might not have noticed before, that he can fight inside a little. He takes on ADRIAN CURIEL, who all he can do is fight inside. CURIEL, the Mexican, is coming off a 2-fight series with South Africa's Sivanthi Nonshinga for the IBF World Light Flyweight title. Nonshinga lost his belt in an upset November last year when he was crushed in 2 rounds by CURIEL. But an immediate rematch in February of this year, he scored a 10-round stoppage and took the belt back. So both men coming off stoppage losses will be keen to get a win and not go 2 losses on the bounce. There's a lot to play for in that fight. I'm picking Sonny Edwards to outbox CURIEL. CURIEL, despite that stoppage against Nonshinga, is not a big puncher. He's not a big puncher. At least statistically, he's not a big puncher. And Sonny definitely is not a big puncher. But this won't be an easy fight for Sonny at the same time. It won't be easy. But I'm picking him to win.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Heavy stuff. Roy Jones informed us that his son DeAndre took his life on Saturday. Roy says he's thankful that God allowed him to come home Friday night to spend the last night of his life with Roy and his family. Roy said, I know a lot of people are going through tough times right now, but nothing is worth taking your own life. God gives it, and God should be the one to take it away. Roy is requesting that you respect the family's privacy while they process the loss. Thank you for the love and support. DeAndre was 32 years of age.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Moses Calleros, a Mexican flyweight, was stopped in 4 rounds by Gallo Yafai on the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Jermaine Franklin at the O2 Arena, April of last year. UKAD informed us that he tested positive for a cocaine metabolite, is what UKAD announced on their website on Monday gone this week, not realizing that Moses had passed away in March. They've since deleted the post on their website. Yeah, it's a little bit of an oversight from UKAD, but the biggest story that's come out of it is how you can get 4 years for cocaine, which is not recognized as a PED. It's a recreational substance. But then you only get a year for taking Ostarine, a recognized PED. How does that work? Talking about Ryan Garcia, obviously. Some people are really strange when they talk boxing. Like, I've heard people say, well, it's 2 different jurisdictions, America and the UK. 2 different jurisdictions, but the same sport. The same dangerous sport that men and women every day go inside that ring and risk their lives. Moses, 34 years of age, he left the game with a 37-11-1 record with 20 inside the distance. Cause of death is not yet known.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Bob Arum has revealed that talks are ongoing between Team Lomachenko and Team Tank Davis. Carl Moretti, Top Rank, and Luis de Cuba from the PBC are seeing if they can negotiate a fight between the two for November. Tank, he's the WBA 135-pound champion. Lomachenko is the IBF 135-pound champion. He just beat George Kambosos for the vacant belt. He's 36 years of age, 18, 3-0 with 12 inside the distance. Tank, 29 years of age, 30 wins, 28 wins inside the distance. No losses, no draws. Hopefully Tank has got the confidence to take on a Lomachenko, who they're probably banking on has slowed down a bit at 36. I noticed that Shakur Stevenson, 26 years of age, 21 wins, no losses, no draws, 10 inside the distance. His name has been omitted from the conversation now. He's the WBC title holder. Obviously, he's declared that he will become a free agent after his next fight on Top Rank. And he's basically ostracized himself from the picture. While I believe that Bob would have favoured that Top Rank push for Lomachenko to fight Tank over Shakur, well, when you say Eddie Hearn is a hell of a promoter and you're going to leave, well, you can almost guarantee that you're going to be prioritised behind Lomachenko. But the truth is, it didn't look like Shakur was going to get Lomachenko, which in theory should be an easy fight to make. You're both from Top Rank. He wasn't going to get that one, as well as Tank. So you can understand Shakur's frustrations. Like I said, hopefully Tank feels secure enough that he could fight an aging Lomachenko. It would be a good fight, a unification. We've been asking for the fight for a few years, but can't complain. Still a very good fight. Unification at 135. The skeptic in me has a feeling they'll be announcing Tank Davis-Isaac Cruz rematch for Cruz's 140-pound WBA title. Time for the European tour, I think, for Shakur at 135. If he can get past this Artunian guy, which he should do, Dennis Baranchik is signed to Frank Warren. He's the WBO champ. If he hooks up with Eddie, that should be an easy fight to make. Might even be able to get it on a Riyadh season card. I hope he does get a unification while he's still able to make 135. I hope he does. Frank Warren might not be too keen on it because Shakur goes in a huge favourite over the 36-year-old Ukrainian.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Waiting for the announcement of Anthony Joshua's next fight. 31st of September, Wembley Stadium. The favourite is Daniel Dubois to be in the opposing corner. It will be actually 9 years since AJ's faced the fellow Brit. 9 years. That would be Dillian, who we stopped in 7 at the O2. 2013, he stopped Paul Butlin in 2. In 2014, he stopped Dorian Darch in 2. Matt Legg in 2, Skelton in 2, and Michael Sprott in 1. All Brits. Then in 2015, he starched the big Scottish guy, Gary Cornish, and in the same year, he stopped Dillian in 7 at the O2. The last time Dubois faced off against a Brit, he was stopped in 10 by Joe Joyce. That was in 2020. Tyson Fury, he fought 2 Brits in 2022, expecting a better show from Dillian, but we didn't get that. You got to give credit due to Tyson Fury. And at the same time, you got asks like, what happened to Dillian? Where was the energy in the build-up for the fight? And then he fought Derek Chisora in a voluntary later that year. But with Dubois' current form, I would argue that this is the biggest heavyweight showdown in the United Kingdom for a little while. Definitely so. 28, 3-0, 25 inside the distance for AJ. Daniel Dubois, 21, 2-0 with 20 inside the distance. Big knockout percentages. Both men are heavyweight specimens. Powerfully built guys. Likely to be a knockout. It's the kind of event that British boxing needs. It really is. Definitely so. Let's hope it's announced tomorrow. Joshua was also on Desert Island Discs, a BBC radio show which is about as British as you can get. I guess it's probably been going on before anyone who is listening to this video has been born. The guests, they get to play the soundtrack and the music that has inspired and motivated them. And they have a bit of a chinwag with the presenter. I believe her name is Lauren Laverne. I didn't listen to the whole hour section, but he played some Bob Marley and some Stormzy. And he was speaking about the Ringside Charitable Trust, of which Dave Harris is the head. And his old trainer from the Finchley Boxing Club, John Oliver, is a trustee. So he's been in contact with John Oliver, and he wants to work with the trust to make a home for retired boxers who've fallen on hard times.
You get in the ring and you put everything on the line.
Yeah.
And it's quite ironic, really. The sport is notoriously dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
How much do you worry about the risks? How much do you let yourself think about that?
Yeah, you do, naturally. I was thinking about it the other day. Someone asked me when am I retiring, and I was like, in about 2 years. But I was thinking to myself, as a fighter, you should say, I don't even think about retiring. I don't think about my health. All I want to do is conquer. That's the true warrior spirit. But naturally, in your quiet moments, in your dark room, you have time to think. After all of this is said and done, the one thing I would hope for the most is to keep my health intact, because it's your health that is the most important thing that you're putting on the line.
Do you talk to other fighters about it? Because I would imagine most people don't really understand how that feels, but they do.
None of us fighters talk about our health after. You know, we can notice it in fighters when their health is deteriorating, but we never actually talk about it amongst ourselves.
That's
all we focus
interesting.
on is winning. Yeah.
Have you thought about what you'd like your legacy as a boxer to be?
What I will do in the future when I finish is probably open maybe a care home for retired boxers if they have bad health. John Oliver, one of my amateur coaches, he's a lot older now, but he speaks to a lot of the old boxers, and he's come from a generation where a lot of boxers that retired had bad health issues and were left alone, and they suffer by themselves. So we've been speaking about opening up a care home. That will be part of my boxing legacy, is that I gave something back to the sport that made me.
Dave Harris, the head of the trust, said he's losing faith in the boxing industry, rallying and supporting the charity. So people in the industry have been approached for a long time, and they're saying AJ is the only elite boxer who stepped up and said there's a need to support this charity. So hopefully there's a knock-on effect where the boxers who can assist step up, join AJ, join Dave Harris, John Oliver. John Oliver used to coach AJ at the Finchley Boxing Club. He's a trustee of the trust. Hopefully, you know, there's a knock-on effect, and the boxers and people in the industry who can assist do so. And with that,
I'm gone. Ghost, peace, sayonara.